Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back for some more Space Engineers. In today's video, I want to give you guys another update after our battle, and we're still hanging around the battlefield. You can see the wreck of a tank there. You can see the wreck of the first cube drone. It was actually shot down quite aggressively back there. Here is what remains of the pirate salvage facility. So we basically stripped it down of anything of value. It had assemblers, a lot of what was it called again? Glass, actually. So my brother said that I would actually be pretty good for like silicon and things like that. And of course, we also completely, if I'm not mistaken, raided, yeah, except for 18,000 steel plates. We already have plenty of steel plates, honestly, available. Everything has been taken down. We took some more metal, some of these, what are they called? Actually could be pretty interesting. Steel catwalks for the small steel tubes, construction comps, interior plates, basically a little bit of everything. We took our prize and it is now stripped down to just its bare remains. Maybe we could still take down that large container, but overall we're doing quite okay. And so you can see the wrecks back there. There's actually an enemy drone wreck, also stripped of course of everything. Over there another enemy drone wreck, and then behind the horizon I think there's a no, actually over there is actually remains of one of the tanks, and well, you know, the rest of them I think have been cleaned up either by ourselves or by the rover. So at this point I'm basically getting my preparations done for space. The plan for space is of course the big cube in the back, and then the little cube will I'll try to ride it on top. I have been topping this one off with plenty of ice so that it can, let's take a quick look where it's at, so that it can replenish its tanks pretty easily. So let's see here, tanks, hydrogen tanks here. You can see it's back at 85%, and we still have 10k or a little bit more in ice. So from time to time just do some quick trips and make sure that this one is topped off. And then for the large cube we added this. It's not going to be a permanent feature, obviously. Looks terrible, it's not really part of the cube, but I added these 3 miners with a rotor and a single piston just to strip down a lot of ice together with these two to increase my holdings, so that we could create more and more fuel basically for our trip up into space. Which brings us here, if I take a seat, we are now bottom right at 61% of our hydrogen capacity. And if I take a look at what's happening, oh, you can maybe also this here, weight 9.1 million kilograms. We have gained a little bit of weight with all of that extra mining activity. But if we look at what's available here, whoop, something dropped at the neighbors here. 33k ice here. Then we've got some more here, but especially I think there's one here, 1 million units of ice. All of that is now slowly, of course, churning in the H2O2 generators. Another 128k, another 350k here. So we now already have a nice chunk of ice. Now I'm not sure if we'll go all the way, but I would love to have the tanks completely filled, then have a reserve of ice, so that I basically have plenty of time to look for maybe other asteroids or the moon, so that we can there get more of those resources. And a quick addition that I did as well in order to get that fuel pumping a little bit more quickly is that here in between this storage capacity I put 4 more H2O2 generators just to grab that ice more quickly and turn it into fuel for the engines. Normally we can still take off despite the fact that we have gained a little bit of weight, and well, I think it's okay for me to do one more so I can basically demonstrate how this works. But you can see now the rotor here is moving a little bit more slowly, and I think what's helping a lot is the fact that I have one light block armor that's connected to the piston itself, and that's actually keeping the whole thing a little bit more in check. So let's start by moving the large cube again. So with just the 3 internal engine blocks, I don't have enough thrust to lift, but if we add the 3 large ones, we do. So I think we're still fine. Then I am going to unlock ourselves so we can lift off, and for this one maybe we'll just move back a little bit. Oh, actually, maybe we won't, because I should have a pretty big gap there. No, we're actually going to move forward, try to get a little bit of a fresh spot. Like that. That should definitely be fine. I'll turn myself a little bit, and then I tend to zoom in. So then when I go down, I look at the landing gears, watch until they go yellow. Here it's yellow. So now I can just press 4 to lock it. Turn the engines off, and there we go. We have moved our entire operation, and we are ready to mine for more ice. So this one is the classical one, and I am going to keep this one up and running. And if I'm not mistaken, it's, let's quickly check. Yeah, it's these, the darker orange ones, or the brighter orange ones. So that's these 3 drills. And then the green pistons for those still work normally. So I'm just going to take one of these. This one is on. And what I do is I put this one at 0.01. Just give it plenty of time. Every 10 seconds, I think, at this speed, it goes down a little bit. Then I take a second one and I reverse it. This one goes down a little bit more quickly, of course, at 0.1. And I just wait for us to touch the ice, basically. Because one piston is bringing us into the stone layer. So it's basically the perfect scale. So here I'm touching ice, so I'm stopping this one. Or what I actually usually do is I'll bring it down to a nice round number, right? My OCD probably acting up a little bit. There we go, 2 meters round, and then the second piston is slowly going to extend itself to 10 meters, and that is going to get us a little bit of ice. It's not very efficient. The millions, of course, came from this setup here. Now what I do for this one, well, first of all, of course, we also activate the rest of our drills. So that should be these 3. Let's put them on. As you can see, there's a bit of shake. Some of you guys mentioned that if I enable scripts, I think I can have the piston like share tensile strength or something like that, so that it diminishes the shaking that happens. But then I actually go to this panel to make sure that I'm in the piston itself, and the speed that I have found for this one to be the right one is actually 0.003, so about 3 times slower than the piston back here. And the reason is because this is the setup, right? You've got the rotor, a drill, 1 block in between, another drill, 1 block in between, and another one here. And so this is now slowly going to make a circle, but all of that will be taken down by the drills. If we go any faster, actually from 0.005, I think it is, to be precise, you basically start to go down so quickly that the ice starts to accumulate here, and so you miss out a little bit. But this is actually the gap that these drills make, and that is like a lot of ice, the millions of units almost that we have that are currently finding their way throughout the entire Borg cube back here, and that are all being turned into fuel. Quick little addition that I did here as well. Let's maybe show that off. So this is a place where I'm planning to put in ion engines once we have enough platinum to really make those. They run on energy, so I should just be able to do that pretty quickly. But you see here we've got a central pillar that goes up to a connector, and so I added this conveyor sorter that takes out everything except for ice and munitions. And so that is also what I've been doing when these guys are going. I've been taking the small cube out back there. You can see we've got a gold deposit, so I just go there, mine gold. I can usually get like 30k or something like that on a single bottle for my jetpack. And then I can land on top of the cube, just connect, and everything is being sucked into the system as well, which is now, well, quite full, of course, but the ice will slowly be absorbed. As I've said, I do think it'll take the weight down. And then this is what I wanted to show you guys here. So we've got another 31k gold coming, and another 30k gold over here somewhere. So that should allow us to get some extra gold. It is important, and it's actually pretty tough to get when you're going purely on energy efficiency. But I'm not sure about the battery and the solar power only for this without the windmills, which is of course what we'll have to run at when we get into space. All of these windmills, I think I'll just take them down. I'm not really sure. It's also messing up my pattern on top here for the solar panels. But you can see here also that I've been basically adding more and more of them, so that when we do eventually get into space, that I can hopefully keep everything up and running just on these solar panels. Now we have a little bit of fuel, so I can definitely, which I'm planning to actually do over up here to the left, with that little bit of uranium that we got from the base. If I find out that we are having some actual energy problems, I will of course put in, I don't think it's called a generator, but there's, you know, whatever it is that's like a nuclear power plant or something like that, that'll get me extra energy so that we keep everything nice and smooth up there. So that's the update for this video, guys. An extra drill setup. You can start to see what it's doing here, right? It is digging itself into the ice layer, but it is slow enough that that basically by the time we get here, it can take down these little tips here as well, so it will be absolutely fine. And that's bringing in a lot of ice, which now needs some time to fully be absorbed and turned into fuel. Here you can see even in these 10 minutes we're still at the 61%, so it is pretty slow. I could add in more H2O2s, but it's not like I'm super pressed for time or anything like that before we go into space. I'd rather also not add too much weight to the cube anymore at this point. We do want to get up there, so that's the preparations basically. Oops, and it's actually F that I want to press. We have that. Those are the preparations that I have done. Now my brother is probably going to look at using some of my resources to create his own small grid chip, that he wants to use for full usage as well. So what I have found out is that the cube drone, the way it is now, really doesn't have a very long range. I mean, I think just getting over to that gold, loading it up, getting back, a little bit of maneuvering for the landing, I can easily use up like 30% of the hydrogen capacity that it has in here. So as a result, my brother is planning on building like a larger small grid chip with like internal places to walk and things like that will be able to get him in and out of space and basically to do things freely here as well. That project is probably something we're going to try to do before we actually head into space as well, but he needs to decide on a design so that he can get started on that. But hopefully we can also get it that same connector, which is down here, because this is of course something that I do really like here, is that this connector now is functional. I would be able to just land the cube drone on this, we'll take off into space, find an asteroid, mine that, bring it all into the cube drone, I'll land here again, and all of those resources will just be absorbed and ready to use into the cube. And here maybe we'll go with something like that. My brother's been experimenting up here, but he hasn't decided yet on what he wants to do. So expect us to go up there with the big cube, and then my brother in his own ship when we finally decide to take this step. It's definitely getting closer. I mean, with this, I think we'll have plenty of ice to top us off to 100% there. Just make sure that I've got enough in reserve so that we can, you know, get that fuel back and make sure that I can keep generating an oxygen here, which is the setup that you're seeing over there, and then, you know, we'll try to expand, live from space, get the ion engines up and running, get warp engines as well, and then we'll keep exploring around in Space Engineers. I'm really having a lot of fun with this so far, and although this is a little bit of a jury-rigged solution, it's what was needed in order to get the ice up into the cube itself. That's gonna be it for this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.